Hey there, I am Dr. Dave, and you have a friend to lean on. Yes, this is, I think it's episode 3 of my Friend to Lean On series. I'm the RV Dummy, and this is embedded in my RV Dummy channel, but this particular series called A Friend to Lean On has nothing at all to do with RV, travel RVs. It is more of a forum. It's more of a series where I connect with you. You connect with me. We help each other out because in these trying times, and let's face it, it's been a difficult last 12 months or so. It's been crazy. I want to keep these episodes really positive, so I'm not even gonna. You know why it's been crazy. I don't have to tell you, but I just think that so many of us now need company. We need positivity. We need reinforcement. We need somebody to talk to, or even somebody to listen to. And I utilize this series it's for you. I'm going to talk for like about an hour, and I'll talk about random topics. Some will really hit home with you. Some may not, but it's not scripted at all. I just am going to go kind of ranting and talking about really cool things. A lot of people have told me they really are enjoying this series. Also, I have no problem if you want to use my voice. A lot of us also have problems falling asleep these days. And if you want to use my voice, if you want to put your device next to your pillow as you're falling asleep, you're welcome to do that. And I don't take offense. I don't get offended if you use it to fall asleep, because it's not that it's boring. I hope it's not boring, but I'm just going to be talking and soothing you and comforting you, and feel free just to relax, chill, and do whatever you want as you're listening to these videos, this series called A Friend to Lean On. Now, I will share a couple things with you that are pretty interesting. First of all, usually the first 10 minutes I just explain to newcomers what this whole thing is about. And like I said, it goes about an hour. Sometimes if I want to cut it short, I'll cut it a little bit shorter, but about an hour. Generally, rarely will I ever go over an hour. But the first 10 minutes just kind of orient you, tell you a little bit about what we do here. And one of the things I started last episode was, I said to you, I'm just curious. I want to see how many of you are not only watching a little bit here and there, or maybe falling asleep, which is totally fine if you do that. But I want to see how many of you are really watching and listening. Mainly listening. You don't have to watch. You can put your device on. You can put it on if you've got like Roku or Apple TV. You can put it on that and just use it as background noise. That's fine with me. Any way you want to utilize this is totally fine. But as a little experiment, I wanted to see how many of you are actually watching it all the way through very carefully, or listening carefully. So what I did last time, for the first time, I embedded a secret code word, a secret code phrase, word, couple words, whatever it was. Excuse me. And if I cough, I'm sorry. I don't edit this at all. So if there was one time, I think the first episode I did, I think it was first episode or last episode, I actually got a Grubhub delivery at the door. So I said, hey, just wait a second, I gotta go. Stay right here, I'm not going anywhere. But I went and got my Grubhub delivery, took it into the kitchen, and came back. So whatever happens, happens. But so I gave the code word, or the code phrase, sometime during the last episode, and I said, when you get it, if you hear it, write it in the comments section under the video. Now, don't send me a text message, don't send me an email, because I won't be able to reference these all over the place. It's got to be written in the comments section for this video. And before we get started, I want to actually go ahead and give a shout out to, these are, I think you guys and gals that got this are probably like the highest level. So, I mean, I value every single one of you that's watching this or listening to this, but the ones that actually got the code are of the highest level. So I wanted to share with you who did it. And it's a fairly small number because, again, this series is just getting started. I'm looking for big things to happen. So if you have any friends or family members or people you work with or people you know that could use a friend to lean on, please share this with them. I'd like to, the more people I reach, But I'm doing the video anyway. I'm recording it. I'm sitting here for some time to record this video. And so if I'm going to do this, the more people I reach, the better. And the more people I can help and the more people I can soothe and be friends with, the better. So I'll give a shout out to anybody here that mentioned the code phrase. Now, there'll be another one today too, and I'll share that with you in a second. But I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, from the bottom of my heart, I'm still working this whole thing out, and I'm very, very sorry if I did. But here's what I have so far. Here's a list of the people that got the code phrase and put it in the comments section. So, Simply Me Journey, thank you very much. That's Nettie. Nettie, I appreciate you, and thank you so much for sharing that, for watching it all the way through. You got it. Susan Shortino, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Somebody, a viewer just goes by the initials KMR. KMR, thank you. That was really nice that you were able to do that. And Grant H. Grant, I'll share something about Grant that he shared with me in the comments too. He said he really is enjoying this, but he doesn't really want to fall asleep to it because while he's watching or listening, he's driving a truck down the highway. So Grant, please do not fall asleep during this, but make sure you somehow remember or jot down the code word when you hear it on today. Speaking of driving trucks, my good friend Outdoor Nomad got it. He got the code word. He's Steve, of course. Check out his channel on YouTube, Outdoor Nomad. He's a great guy. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you. Thanks for writing in with the code word there. Of course, PH Info 101 got it. That's Paul. That's my buddy Paul here from the channel. He's been a long time subscriber, friend through this channel. One day I hope I get to meet many of you in person. Some of you I've met, couple of you I've met, but I hope to meet more and more as time goes on, as it gets safer, as we're traveling wherever we may be. That would be really cool to be able to actually meet you in person. That'd be great. And last but certainly not least, and you'll see why I'm saying certainly not least, is a guy named Marshall Maddow. Marshall Maddow has the same last name as I do. It's totally coincidental. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. He's my brother. My brother, Marshall Maddow, who I wasn't even sure was watching these, got it, and he wrote in. And Marshall, Brother Marshall, thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's so cool to have you as part of this friend to lean on family. And you're not only a friend to lean on, but you are a brother to lean on too. So it's kind of double duty there. So I will be embedding a code word sometime during this episode as well. I'm going to be doing this every episode. And as I learn how to do this, we might get a little more sophisticated. Paul, excuse me, I'm drinking some green tea, which I love. And I've got like a little, a little itch or scratch in my throat. No, I'm not sick. As a matter of fact, I just got a few days ago, I just got the first vaccination, the Pfizer for COVID. So I'm due to get my second in a few weeks. So I am halfway there, getting vaccinated, and second one coming up soon enough. But Paul shared something with me which was interesting. Paul said, Dave, you should somehow work this code word out a little bit better, with a little more, so he didn't use this word, but with a little more sophistication, because anybody that's lazy and kind of catches on, they could just start going through the comments and figure out what the code word is. And that's true, that's very true. If anybody is gonna do that, it's not really what we're looking for. It's not the coolest thing, but if they want to get away with it, yeah, they probably can. But as time goes on, we'll probably try to encrypt this word a little bit more. And you'll see I've got like a little bit of an idea today what we're going to do. It's going to come anywhere between the beginning of the show and the end. So it's going to be somewhere tucked in there. I will give you not only the code, but exact instructions on what to do. And if you do it, you'll get your name mentioned on the next episode. Again, I hope I didn't forget anybody. If I did, I'm truly sorry. I'm still trying to work this out. If I did forget you or missed you or somehow, you're never forgotten. But if I missed you somehow, I will be perfecting the techniques sooner or later, and we'll make sure we get everybody. So we're just about 10 minutes into this. That's my intro. Again, I want to just ask you from the bottom of my heart, if you know anybody to share this with that wants to be part of this, all they have to do is subscribe to the channel. And it's in a separate playlist called A Friend to Lean On. I think you can probably, I'm not sure how it works, I can't remember, but you can probably just check that playlist. You don't, if you're not into RVing, you don't have to check all my other RV videos. If you are, you're more than welcome to. But you can, I think, subscribe or just get a feed or something to this one playlist called A Friend to Lean On. I'm not sure how that works. You probably know more than I do about that. So let's get into today's show. And speaking about a friend to lean on, I was thinking a little bit earlier today, how many of you have, like, other than me, you can lean on me, but let's face it, this is only on video, and it's not like you can't, like, we can't touch each other right now, we can't hug, and we can't do that anyway because of COVID. But how many of you actually have that friend, like that really good, special, like a special best friend that's more than just like a regular friend, but that friend that you've got like a special connection with, and that friend that you can tell anything to, and a friend that you can say something to and not be judged, and they can do the same to you, and you can go deep and you can talk with deep conversations, and the friend that you can call, God forbid, if there's an emergency in the middle of the night, 3 a.m, that friend that you can call and they will help you the best way they possibly can. How many of you have that type of friend? Sometimes I call it like a 3 a.m. friend, because even though I've never had to utilize that, it's that friend that you know, no matter what time you call them, they're there for you. You can say anything to them. It's important to have like just at least one really good, positive person in your life like that. I may have told you last time, I don't remember, because again, these are not scripted, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I remember last time, I think I talked a lot about maybe camp, or summer camp that I went to, I think. But I'm not one that has like a million friends in my life. I think in my life, quality of friendship comes way before quantity. And I know I've got some people that I'm associated with that have like, they've got tons of friends. They've got just like hundreds or thousands, I don't know how many, but like a lot of friends. And I don't. I mean, I've got a decent number, don't get me wrong, I've got a decent number, but I'm very picky about my friends, and my friends are like, they're real friends. And maybe I'm difficult, maybe I'm tough, because I don't want to be friends with just somebody that's a friend on the surface, and they're not like a real friend, and God forbid the time comes that I need them, they're not there for me. That's not what I call a friend. That's more of like an acquaintance, or somebody that you hang with a little bit, but they're not like really true friends. And I found out this in a big way close to 20 years ago, when I went through a what I would call like not an easy I don't think any divorces are good or easy, and I'm not a fan of divorce, but I went through a divorce from my first wife about close to 20 years ago. And before we got divorced, I mean, I just knew things really weren't right in my life, and I just didn't want to keep continuing like that. But we had a really nice, I guess what you call like a nice circle of friends. I'm going to use friends in quotation marks. I'm going to use that word very loosely, because I thought a lot of these people were my friends, but I don't think any of them, or very few that I can think of, were like the truest of 3 a.m. friends, where I could really ask them a big favor or tell them something and not be judged, because we were part of like a whole group of people, and a lot of them knew each other, and a lot of them were kind of like, I don't want to use the word like hot shots, but just, you know, fancy and big houses, and, you know, drove the right cars and wanted to look good in the neighborhood, and look good for everybody in public and society. And in doing all that, I think many of these people that I used to associate with lost like the true meaning of like a real friend. Now, I had good times with a lot of these people, and I thought a lot of them were my friends. But here's the interesting thing: when my ex-wife and I finally split up, that's a great test, by the way, to tell who your real friends are. because a lot of these people that I considered my friends, I found out they weren't friends at all. They were only my friends because I was married and was living my life like right the way they thought I should live my life. But as soon as I deviated and figured out that my life really wasn't going the way I wanted to, and I wanted to kind of go in a different direction, these people were immediately like said, well, like, goodbye, Dave, we're not friends with you. And like a lot of them, I was like surprised, saddened, but in a way I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about fake people. There's one family in particular, and I make it a point never to, I don't want to use any real names on the show. I just don't want to, there's no reason to, and I want to keep this like as upbeat and as possible. But this show is called A Friend to Lean On, and I want to just prove that I am like your friend, and you can feel free to share anything with me. And if you ever share anything with me, by the way, in private, I will never judge you. I will never, if you say don't share this with anybody, I will never share with anybody else. A lot of you have shared private things with me, and I am a man of my word. And I don't, if somebody tells me something in confidence, I not only don't judge, but I don't share with anybody else, and I try to help them as best as I can. And by the way, just a real quick aside, I know I'm probably all over the place, but I'm wearing, I did an episode a week or so ago, and I was testing out these new Apple, what are they called? Apple AirPod Max? I think that's what they're called. Apple AirPod Max. And I said, I'm just testing them out because I love them, and I just wanted to see what they sounded like on doing the video. And by the way, I think the sound quality from these turned out to be some of the best quality I've produced in doing this YouTube channel. So I decided to keep rolling with it. And even though maybe it looks a little weird that I'm wearing headphones, I'm doing it because I think the sound quality is pretty decent, very decent. And it's important when I'm speaking to you, especially if you're watching this on a sound system that's really good, or you're trying to go to sleep and you want to hear a soothing voice. It's important to me that the sound is decent, and I think I'm getting good sound from these headphones. That's why I wanted to tell you exactly why I started wearing these headphones again, or not again, but the last few videos I've done, even for the RV channel, I've been using the headphones, and they've been going great. But getting back to friends, fake friends, people that turned out to be that like you think they're your real friends, but they're not. It's really interesting. There's this. I had a lot of experience of this, like I said, when I got divorced. But there's this one particular family, and as soon as I got divorced, the whole family started hating me. I mean, and it's really very interesting. To this day, I think there's something wrong with them because they're not right. Because to this day, 20 years later, the whole family like has hatred towards me. If they saw me, they don't live anywhere near me now, so thank God I don't have to see them. But if they saw me in public, they would snub me or cuss me out or look the other way, or they've got like a lot of hatred in their bodies. And what I find very interesting about this particular family, well, first of all, we were friends with them, and I use friends in air quotes because obviously I wasn't friends. They pretended to be my friend temporarily in life. That's what it was. So I wasn't really friends, but it was like a play, like they were acting out like a drama or something. It was a fake friend situation. But the interesting thing is, this family that I'm referring to, they have generational hate. You know that the story about, and I don't even know the exact story. There's a story about like the Hatfields and the McCoys, and it's like two families that like battled it out over maybe even generations, I'm not sure, but two families that hated each other in the past. And I think it got to the point where they hated each other so much they couldn't remember the reason that they actually hated each other, but they kept hating each other more and more. But nobody, if you ask them like the original reason, nobody would be able to tell you why they hate each other. So it's like but this story might even be stranger because it's multi-generational. See, the parents of the fake friends that I had when I was married, well, they used to be friends with my parents, and for some reason, I don't know, it was probably more than a couple decades ago, they had so much hatred in them that they started hating my parents, and it got so bad. It was just unbelievable because like the man was like childhood friends with my dad, and like one day they started hating my mom and dad, which was really, really bizarre. I felt so bad because they put so much time and energy into like many, many years of friendship, and all of a sudden this couple started having like hatred for my parents. Now then it went to the next generation because their daughter, which was she's married to this other guy, and they were friends of me and my ex-wife, and then they both started hating me when I got divorced. This is a weird story, but I swear to you it's true. And then their next generation, their daughters, they have two daughters, and they started hating us as well, hating me and my family and my family as well. So there's something about like learned behavior and hatred, and I think these are not happy people, because I think what I've learned, I've done like a lot of reading and soul searching over many, many years, and I've learned that people that hold hatred in don't like themselves. Now they can say they like themselves, and they're not happy generally. Now they can say they're happy. They can be driving the nicest cars. They can be playing golf every weekend. They can have a swimming pool. They can on the outside they can appear to be like perfect people, but to have and to harbor hatred, I think it's impossible to harbor hatred for a long period of time, or even for a short period of time. People that are truly, truly, really happy and like themselves or love themselves generally don't have hatred. And if somebody crosses them the wrong way, if you truly love yourself, you will find a way to forgive. When I used to do a lot of public speaking and motivational speaking, one of my biggest things that I taught was if somebody, like a friend or a business associate or a family member, did something wrong and crossed you the wrong way. Let's say they just did something awful to you. Well, you could hate them for the rest of your life if you wanted to, but who's that going to hurt? Guess what? It's only going to hurt you, because you're the one harboring a grudge, hatred, and it's really bad for your body. It's stressful. Hatred, I think, and stress and grudges do affect your health for sure. But generally what they say is like a very happy person or somebody that loves themselves will find a way to forgive somebody, no matter what they did, no matter how bad of a thing the person did to the other person. And I'm going to suggest this to you, is to let it go. If somebody that you know of did something bad to you at some point in your life, and you haven't forgiven them yet, you're still harboring some type of a grudge or hatred, the best thing you could do would be to let it go. That doesn't mean you have to be the person's best friend. I'm not saying call them up and say, let's get together for coffee. Although that would probably be a pretty cool thing. That would probably be like one of the nicest, and you'll probably feel great doing it. So, but you don't have to do that. But the best thing to do is to let go of any hatred. Because again, that will cause physical and mental problems for sure. There's no question about it. There's no question. So it's very interesting about that family. And something else I noticed, and tell me if you've ever noticed this at all. And I used to be a part of this. I used to be guilty of this. So I can share this with you freely because I knew it in my heart I was guilty of this. And I just want to share this with you and see if any of you have ever been in the same situation. Because, we all over our lives go to weddings and big parties and whatever they might be, that maybe have some type of a band playing or a disc jockey, where everybody ends up on the dance floor. Now, I'm not a dancer. I don't like to dance. I never really loved to dance. But back in the old day, when I was with somebody that maybe I wasn't really feeling the love or not really meant to be with, when we were at some type of festivity like that, like a big party, a charitable event, or a wedding or something like that, we would get on the dance floor and dance to the band, but it was like, I felt like it was not real. I felt like I was like, I hate to say it like this, but I felt like I was like fake dancing, like going through the motions, even if it's a slow dance, you know, you're going through the, but you don't really want to be doing it. You're there because everybody else is doing it and it's like the right thing to do. I wonder if you ever felt that way. If you're with the wrong person, you probably have. Because if you're with the right person, the right partner, whoever that partner might be, whatever gender, it doesn't even matter at all, but when you're with that right person, you can actually, and I think this is a test. You can try this test anytime you get on the dance floor with the right person, and you'll know it. Because you'll feel good. You'll feel good that you're together, close, dancing, whether it's a fast dance or a slow dance. You'll feel it in your heart that this is the right person. Because it's interesting, because I saw the couple that I'm referring to, the fake friends. I saw them, it was about, we happened to be at the same party. I'll say it was a wedding. We happened to be there. And this is very interesting. I saw them on the dance floor together. And I was watching them as they were dancing. And I swear to you, it does not take a rocket scientist or an empath or a psychic or anybody. It's somebody that's got like a lot of intuition. It doesn't take it. I was watching them and they were just going through the motion. It was like a bullshit. I'm gonna call it like a bullshit dance. It's the bullshit dance because they were arm in arm. But like I could tell the guy was like, looked like he was bored as hell, looking around, like kind of saying like, this is my life. This is what it's come to. This is my life. I'm on the dance floor with this one, and I could feel it. I could tell. So it's a test to see if you're with that right. Now I know these days, if I would get, and I don't, like I said, I don't dance. I'm not a dancer. But if I ever got to the point where we were at some type of a party and we had to dance, I would feel that I'm with the right person. There's zero question in my mind. I would not be doing the bullshit dance. That would be good. That's not the code word. Oh, that would be great. I had another code word, but wow, we should make that one the code word today because I had another one all ready to go, but maybe I'll use that next time. Let's use that as the code word today. Let me know. So kind of like in the comments, write just a comment to me. You can say something like, hey, loving your videos, and I love your friend to lean on, whatever you want to write, and embed in your comment, embed it in there, something like, I have done the bullshit dance, or I've never really done the bullshit dance, or I'm not a dancer, but something about dancing. That would be great. Do that. If you mention the word dancing, and you get extra points maybe if you say the bullshit dance. This just comes to my mind as I'm saying this. You'll get extra points, and again, like I did today, I'll give you a shout out if you do that. And maybe the funnier the better. But embed it in a way that somebody just can't go through all the comments and figure it out. So be creative. Some of you were very creative in the way you said it was Love 21. Last time you were creative. It was pretty cool the way you all did it, or many of you did it. So try that. This code word today. I didn't even mean it to come this early in the show. That doesn't mean you can turn me off now because you have the code. It doesn't. I hope you continue watching, but let's use that. The fake dance. You can say the fake dance or the bullshit dance or something like that. Just say something like that. Okay, that's. If you don't want to use the word bullshit, just say the fake dance and I'll know exactly what you mean. Or say something like that. I will know what you mean. Okay, now let's move on because I don't want to I didn't really mean to talk about negative things, but it is life. And it does fit into this series because again, this is a friend to lean on. I'm that friend. You can virtually lean on me. And no matter what you do in your life, I'm not going to be that fake person that gets rid of you if you do something that I don't approve of. And this happened it just happened to a lot of these fake friends that I had in my first marriage. Now, I don't hang around with any of those types of people anymore at all. All my friends now, all my friends I feel they're the real deal. And I've got like a best friend, I got somebody who I consider my best friend, but I've got others that are like just so close to that as well that I can confide in and say anything to. And I hope you do too. And if you don't, then I can be that person for you if you like. I want to also share. Last time I had some props, and I was playing the djembe, the little drum, and also my brother Marshall happened to be watching, and I think I gave him a shout out last time. He's a drummer, and he, I mentioned the word. I said I know some drumming terms, and like paradiddle was one of them, and he wrote to me in the comment about the paradiddle. Now I forget. I was actually practicing some paradiddles after he shared it, but now to save my life, I wouldn't remember. It was something like. God, what was it like? RLL. I can't remember. Marshall, maybe I'll look back through the notes, or you can tell me again, because your older brother, Dummy Dave, didn't remember. But I was doing it. I was going like. I can't remember what it was. So Marshall, maybe you have to refresh my memory if you're still watching, and I have a feeling you are, because I hope you didn't turn it off after the bullshit dance code word. Or the fake dance code word, whatever it might be. But today I want to share with you. I got a pair of, not a pair. It's a bracelet. I got a new one from my good buddy. Speaking of friends, he's somebody that I just know really through my videos, and we've met in person. He lives in Queens, New York, and actually, so when I used to live on the East Coast, when I used to travel up to New York, we actually met a couple of times and hung out and had coffee or hung out on the street and talked for a little while. Great guy. His name is Desmond, and he makes jewelry, and he has an Instagram account, and I wish I could remember off the top of my head. I think his Instagram is kind of something like bbd.jewelry, I think. Something like that. I believe that's what it is. But he had this beaded bracelet on there. He had a picture of it. He said, like, this is something brand new he made, and I loved it. And I said, I gotta have one of those. I want one of those. So I messaged him right away, and like within 3 or 4 days, I had this in my mailbox, and it's pretty cool. It's really cool beads. I'm not sure what type of bead he can. If he's watching, I'm not sure if he is or not, but he can tell us what kind of beads these are. But the cool thing about it, it's not one of those stretchy bracelets that you stretch over. It's got like a little latch on it here. So it's a little bit harder to put on, but then once it's on, it stays in place really well. I've gotten a ton of compliments already. I've only basically had it for like a week or so, and I love beaded. I'm not like a jewelry person. Like, here's my wedding band. My wedding band is basically, you can see that I'm not a jewelry person, because my wedding band is basically made out of rubber. It's like, I'm like the cheapest guy in the world. I mean, it's not because I'm cheap. It's just, I'm not like a gold person. I don't want to wear gold. I don't want to wear fancy, expensive jewelry. The fanciest, most expensive piece of jewelry I have is my Apple Watch. That's like the absolute fanciest I will get, and I use it because it's functional. It's not because it's expensive, and relatively speaking to like what a lot of people like jewelry, what a lot of people wear, it's not really expensive, but it costs more than a few bucks. But I don't wear like a necklace. Well, actually, I take that back. I've got one. In fact, I've got it right here. It's not really something that I wear all the time, but I got this beaded prayer meditation necklace when I was in Japan about 1.5 years ago at a temple. And it's what I used to do a lot. Whenever I traveled, I would actually carry this. I wouldn't wear it all the time, but I would like, if I do wear it, I would tuck it into my shirt. I don't wear it outside. But I always felt that beads bring me really good luck, and I would travel with it, and even if I didn't wear it, I would just put it in my suitcase somewhere. And I felt this connection, and if I had it with me during travel, I always felt that it would bring me good luck. And I think, well, I haven't really traveled much lately because of what's going on, but the last time or two I traveled, I think I forgot to bring it, but I'm gonna make sure I always pack this with me, and I'm always always wearing beads in one way or another. So for some reason, I just think they bring me energy. And people might say, well, there's no such thing as like something bringing you energy like that. Like some people like crystals in their homes, but I think there is, on some level, I think there is some type of energy, positivity that we get from certain objects. And for me, beads, just not only do they feel good, but there's something inherently in them maybe that connects with me, and maybe it's even like a placebo effect. I'm not even sure. Like, sometimes, you take medication and they say, well, the medication really doesn't work, or that was just a placebo, but our minds are so powerful. Our minds can, like, if somebody's in pain, and if you give them something and you tell them this is going to be very, very, very powerful pain medication, and be careful, don't go driving a car, it's going to be, it's very, very powerful. And then if you just give them a placebo, like a fake pill, fake sugar pill, but you tell them that it's really strong stuff, our minds then start to take over. And in a certain percentage of cases, the placebo effect will really get rid of the pain. Like, you'll say, wow, I took that pill and I don't have that headache anymore. My arm doesn't hurt anymore, or whatever it might be. That's why when they do scientific studies, they will test certain drugs against placebos, and they'll do like a full detailed analysis and find, because some people really do respond to placebos. So in order to test a new drug that's going to come on the market, or to study a drug, or to study some type of medicine, they will have to test it, and they'll test it against placebos, because a certain percentage of the people that get a placebo are going to say, this worked great. So that means a certain percentage of people that are going to get a new drug that's coming onto the market, even if it's not working properly, will say, oh yeah, that helped my whatever, that made me feel better in some way, even though maybe it didn't. But the mind made it feel better, so who's to say it didn't work? Who's to say that? And who's to say, when I travel with my beads or wear my beads, who's to say that doesn't make me feel, just even if it's just a little bit better, who's to say that doesn't work? This isn't really a prop, but I've got this mug. When we moved from Maryland to Salt Lake City, we got rid of so much stuff. We sold or donated almost everything we had. But we kept a few things that we really liked. And one of the things was this mug that came from a place called Avalanche Ranch. Avalanche Ranch is like a little place somewhere in Colorado. It's like a little ranch, and they've got these. What Yoko and I really like about it is they've got these hot tubs. They're almost like Japanese hot springs, almost like that. And you can sit in them for a short time or an hour or so, and you soak in these hot tubs. And as you're in them, you look at these beautiful mountains. And if it's in the winter, they're snow covered, and it's beautiful. And we just felt like a real connection with this place, Avalanche Ranch. And so we each bought, when we were there for the very first time, we each bought a mug. And this is one of my favorite mugs. So we got rid of so many of our mugs. This is whenever I drink tea, and it's pretty much either green tea or herbal tea. Like I think I shared with you either last time or the time before, I will 99% of the time be drinking it from my Avalanche Ranch mug. So if you see me drinking on video from this mug, that means I'm drinking tea, whether it's green tea or herbal tea. If you see me drinking from another type of cup, it might be another type of drink, maybe coffee. I drink very little coffee, very, very little coffee, but sometimes in the morning I will have, and maybe I'll share this type with you too, because it's a local type of coffee. That their main headquarters are actually headquartered right out of Salt Lake City. If I'm ever drinking this coffee in the morning, I'll share it with you, but it'll be from another type of cup. So if you see me drink from like a whitish cup, chances are I'm drinking coffee from that cup. I don't know, it's really weird. I never drink tea from that cup. I drink coffee from that cup, and I drink tea from this one. And if I'm drinking something like sake or soju is a Korean liquor, and I drink very, very little alcohol. Very, very little. But the alcohol that I like, if I do drink at all, would be either a really good cold sake, which of course is Japanese, and my wife being Japanese, she's taught me a lot about really good sake, or soju, which is a Korean liquor. To me, it would taste, no, it doesn't really taste like sake, but it's not even in the same category. It's probably more closely related to vodka than sake, because I think it's distilled from, it could be either from wheat, from potatoes, sweet potatoes. There's some other types. So if it's Korean, it's called soju, S-O-J-U. But the Japanese version, if it's Japanese, they call it shochu. I think shochu. So it's kind of the same drink, distilled or made in the same way, but Korean soju, Japanese shochu. What is this show turning into? It's turning into a beverage show where I'm sharing like alcoholic beverages with you that I rarely drink in the first place. That's weird, isn't it? I mean, not what the show's intended, but again, the show is totally not scripted, and I just talk off the cuff. But I want to see if I did write anything down that. Sometimes I'll just like write little notes and take notes, but no, I think everything I'm talking about is from my heart, from my brain. Did you, by the way, from the last time, did you try to, if you're with somebody else, did you try my little exercise and not worry about talking the entire time? Like having some silence with two people. Like if you're at a, well, right now, again, I'm not going to restaurants because of because of the pandemic. It's not safe. Even though I got my first vaccine, I'm playing it safe through and through. So even after my second dose, they say that 2 to 3 weeks after the second dose, you're like 95% immune to getting COVID. 95%, 94, 95. So a pretty high percentage. But even after that, I'm going to play it super safe. It's just Yoko hasn't been vaccinated yet, and I think times are changing now. We're all going to be afraid to go back to the way that it used to be, like just getting right up in people's faces and talking and spitting and you know, I think the world's going to be a different place. I think human beings are not going to be as close as we once were, and I think it's probably, maybe it's a good thing. I think I'm like the original social distancer. Even way before COVID, I just didn't like, I'd say within the past, I don't know, maybe within the past 5 to 10 years, I'm not sure. I just don't like being super close to strangers, people that I don't know. Like, so for example, on an airplane, I don't like somebody unless it's Yoko or somebody that I'm friends with, I don't like somebody sitting right next to me. And I rarely, believe it or not, even though I'm able to talk here to you, and if I met you in person, I'd be fine. But to a total stranger, I just don't have the energy to talk to somebody. I don't want to, and I don't have the energy to talk to somebody on a plane. So I kind of do my own thing. I put my music on, or I do some work or some writing or something like that. When I'm in a restaurant, I don't want to be at a table near other people that are talking loud, that are inconsiderate. So I've been this social distance person way before I think the term was even coined. I mean, I probably should have coined the term 10 years ago, because I like to keep my distance from people. You probably didn't realize that about me. You probably thought that I'm the type of person that in public, I'm just talking to everybody and I want to get, but no, I'm not. I want to kind of stay away. It doesn't make sense, I know, because here I am, I've got a YouTube channel, I do a lot of talking, I've been a public speaker for decades, and it's not like when you get off stage, generally after you do a talk, and I think I told you last time, I've spoken to rooms anywhere from like very, very small, tiny rooms to like a few thousand. And it's not like you just get off the stage and run away. A lot of times people want to come up to you and ask you questions, and you got to be cordial and you got to talk and you got to smile. But I don't know. Maybe I'm past all that. Maybe I just had enough with that. I don't know. I don't like the fact that there's a pandemic. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that people are getting sick, and I don't like the fact that people are living their lives and people are losing businesses and losing incomes. I don't like that part at all. But I do kind of like the social distance thing. I do like it. In other words, even when Yoko and I we're out taking a walk, we're meeting, and everybody likes to be, you stay apart from everybody else. You don't just go right by. Everybody keeps their distance, and I find some peace in that. For some reason, I find it to be more comforting and peaceful during these times. It's not just because I'm afraid to catch a virus from somebody, but I feel like keeping a distance from somebody that I don't know is better for me. Now, it might not be better for you. Maybe you're the type that wants to hang out with everybody and talk to everybody on the street, or talk to people next to you on an airplane, or wherever you might be. I'm just not like that. So yeah, I've been social distancing for at least 5 to 10 years, probably plus. 5 to 10 years plus. I should have coined that term, and I should have taken out the domain socialdistance.com. That would have been, that'd probably be worth a fortune now. Socialdistance.com, probably whoever got that domain is using it for something big, and probably if I would have taken that out like 10 years ago, before anybody even knew what social distancing was, I probably could have sold it for a lot of money, right? And I'd be wealthy. That'd be fun. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Life is not all about money. During this last year, I actually spent a lot of my time, I wrote a book. It's pretty much in the stages where it's written. I've got an editor that's helping me kind of finalize things, but it's a book, and it's a book that's going to be on personal finance. Honestly, over many, many, many years, I've made a ton of the mistakes that most people make, but I've learned from my mistakes. And I'd like to say now that I can't say that I do everything 100% right. There's probably no 100% right, but I've learned so much from mistakes, and not only from my mistakes, but from watching what a lot of other people do. I wrote this book because I wanted to help the everyday regular person, like you and me, the everyday person. It's not for the billionaires. It's for the everyday person who sometimes or sometimes in their life has struggled with trying to do the right thing with money. And I'll share with you, and this, a friend to lean on, is not meant to be commercialized at all. The only thing I totally forgot to talk about this at the beginning, totally forgot this, but the only thing I do talk about is Yoko's Salt Lake soap, because we started this little thing with the best, and we love baths, and we started this thing with the best possible soap. It's so wonderful, and it feels, the people that have used it have all said the same thing, kind of makes your skin feel so good and tingly and just clean and really good. And if you want to know more about it, and if you want to help the channel, go to what's it, yokosoap.square.site. Yoko Soap is just spelled out YOKOSOAP, yokosoap.square.site. And site is SITE, and you'll learn a little bit more about the soap. But where was I going with that? I was so I'm going to so about my book that I'm writing, that I'm almost finished. It's gonna come out early this year. So I'm hoping for the first quarter of this year, 2021 is when I'm recording this. But if it doesn't come out the first quarter, it'll be shortly thereafter. I want to make sure I've got everything lined up and everything done right. The book is going to be called How to Become the Neighborhood Millionaire. You remember that book that was written, I think it was in the 90s, maybe the late 90s, what was it called? The Millionaire Next Door, and that was like a bestseller. Everybody had it, and I can't remember the author's name, but he shared with everybody that read it, was how there are a lot of these people out there that are millionaires, but they don't really appear to be because they live regular lives. And they gave a lot of examples. But this book I'm writing is totally different, but I'm explaining to the everyday person how you can become wealthy or how you can become a millionaire just by doing some really simple things that almost anybody can do. It takes some discipline, but there's nothing like really esoteric. There's nothing weird. There's nothing strange. There's nothing complex. But I take my time and teach from start to finish. And it doesn't really matter how old you are, whether you're like in school still or an older person. It doesn't really matter. This model fits for anybody. Now, of course, the younger you are, the more time you have, and the better it is. But this model fits for anybody. So I'm super, super, super excited about that. I'll share more with you on that as it gets closer to becoming reality. But I think this is one of the first times I've actually shared what it's going to be called, or maybe it's one of the first times I've been shared that I'm writing this book. The how to become the neighborhood millionaire. And the neighborhood millionaire means the type of person that has money, has $1 million plus, but you would never know it. They're not flashy. We don't need to have material things to show off with. We don't need to take $50,000 vacations and show off. It's just, we're regular people, but we feel secure in our lives because we have enough money to live on. And that's a great, great, great feeling. And I'll be sharing everything in this book. It's going to be a fun, easy book to read. So again, just look out for that. If you're a subscriber to my channel here, you'll definitely find out more about it at some time. But again, I kind of start going off on different detours and different forks in the road, but I don't ever mean for this to be commercialized. But I do like to share with some things with you that are going on in my life and things that I'm doing and things that I've done. And that's an exciting thing for me. So it's not easy writing a book. It gets to the point where you write it and it takes a while, but then I'm happy to hand it off to an editor and say, okay, like I've done my part, like help me out, take it away from here, and we'll go like a little back and forth. But it's a great feeling knowing that like I've written like pretty much most of the manuscript, and now it's in somebody else's hands, and I just get to like free that part from my brain and do other things, like record videos like this, like a friend to lean on. This is important to me. This is not a money-making venture for me in any way. It's just something that the friend to lean on thing. The book, I've written one other book, and I'm not expecting to make a lot of money at all, but I'm doing it. Again, I do these things from my heart because I really love helping other people. If I do make some money from it, that would be fun, and I'm not going to turn it down. But money doesn't motivate me, and I'm not writing this book thinking that I need to sell a certain number of books to put food on my table. It's not like that at all. But it's really exciting. What else do I have today? I think I'm going to I might let you go a little bit early today. Class, we're going to get out a little bit early. That's the thing. Whenever I was speaking on stage, and let's say I was supposed to speak from, for example, from 9 in the morning till 4:30. Let's just make that up. If I end a little bit early, let's say it ended at 4 o'clock instead of 4:30, nobody ever complains. I've never had one person in my life complain that I ended a little bit early. People, you give them the information, and when you're done, you're done. And if you run late, I think people get upset, unless like the information is so super unbelievably great. But when a class gets out early, and when a video ends a little bit early, nobody gets upset. So I think we'll end it here. I hope you're finding this series valuable in some way. If you like it, remember to put the code word in there in the comments. But not only that, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Again, refer your friends and family that you think this might help. And again, at the very least, if you're using it to find a way to, if my voice just bores you and you fall asleep, except for the truck driver, who was that? That was who was it? That was Grant. Except for Grant, you can't. If you're driving a truck, or if any of you are driving anything, don't fall asleep, please. Please don't do that, please. I don't want to feel responsible for that. But if there's anybody you know that could use a friend to lean on, let them know about this series and let them know that this is the third one already, and they can go back and watch past ones. And I'll try to do them. I'll try my best to pull one out about once a week or so, maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks. But give me feedback. Let me know, because the more feedback I get, the more I can do, and the better they will become each time. So that's it for today. Until next time, you mean a lot to me, each and every single one of you, especially since you made it this far. You mean the world to me. I hope I've helped you in some way in your life. I'm Dr. David Maddow, and I am your friend to lean on. See you next time for sure.